Star Citizen Alpha 3.16 is now out to first wave PTU, which means Evocati, Chairman's Club, and RSI subscribers all have access, but that also means I can start talking about it and making videos about it. It doesn't have all its updates yet, but it's getting there. So what do we have at the moment in 3.16 on the PTU? Well, we've got the grav level rework. Hover vehicles like the Nox and Dragonfly have been heavily updated and improved, so the feeling of driving just feels a lot more stable, a lot less glitchy. You can fly along on a hover bike now and not clip into terrain, not bump into things in the same way that you would before. It feels like you can actually go fast and race with this and get to places without going, this is going to be hell. Turning is much more satisfying as well. You can go much faster on the bikes. You can adjust how far you are to the surface by holding space to go up or control to go down. And if you decide to go very close to the ground, well, you do risk colliding into things, but you will go faster. But you can choose to fly around with less risk and just be higher in the air. And that's cool. And yeah, I really like that idea, because it's going to make it a really interesting racing vehicle, especially for like the Daymar Rally, things like that. They've added better powered on and off behaviors as well, so when they sort of turned off the vehicles, they will slowly come to a halt and rest on the ground, and then when you turn them on, they sort of float up. Falling from great heights as well no longer implodes your bike. It's cushioned on impact, so you can actually jump around and feel like you're a bike and doing cool things. I think it's going to be significantly better than the original Gavlev, in my opinion, but it does need a bit of polish here before a live build. They apparently have added atmospheric bounties to all of the Stanton system, so you'll see those around planets and all that sort of jazz. So this allows players to now fight AI bounties above planetary locations, and these can be found typically in areas above caves, derelicts, junk sites, outposts, and underground facilities, though I was unable to get these missions to appear when I tried earlier. I would expect them to sort of be turned on later today, so if they're not already there. There have been lore system improvements, which have been much needed for a long time, tweaking some of the current system. You can actually more readily defend your friends now, so if you're being engaged, if your party's being engaged by hostile forces, then you will be able to attack someone that's been attacking your friend without getting a crime stat, at least in some situations. Obviously, if you're attacking security forces, well, that's not cricket. They've removed the aggravated vehicular assault law as well, because it's no longer needed, so you're less likely to get crime stats around sort of green zones and that sort of stuff as well, I suppose. They now display a victim, whether it be AI or a player's name, in the infraction notification. So this was to help clear up confusions for players receiving infractions for things like grievous bodily harm, when their victim bled out several seconds after the fact or much later. And obviously there's medical gameplay and stuff like that now, which makes it a bit more confusing. So going, you've done this to this person. Oh yeah, I did do that. They've replaced and reduced the size of trespass zones around the prison, with updated versions that warn the player and they basically get shot at rather than giving them criminal ratings there. So they've removed the misdemeanor area completely. The felony trespass area is still there, and but it's very small now. That will keep bounty hunters from sort of like camping the prison, but it does allow bounty hunters to be able to fight around the prison. Criminals should receive a less forgiving friendly fire allowance if a player is already a criminal or has an active hostile timer. The friendly fire allowance is tightened to ensure they don't keep getting away with the first few shots. They've made changes to missile damage behavior with the lore as well. Firing a locked missile should now max out the friendly fire hostile duration. Currently, locking a missile only counts as a hit, but it will now render the ship as hostile for as long as the missile is locked. Once the missile is unlocked, without it being fired, it should only add a single hit. They fixed an issue that could cause missiles fired at AI to sometimes choose a random friendly target that was close, which would cause the player to get an immediate crime stat. They've updated rep for infiltrate and defend missions to not punish player when they abandon due to spawn times or bugs or whatever, because sometimes there's issues with those missions. We should see jump town events being run over the next few days. Me and Zin will be jumping into those and getting a video out once we have actually played a couple in the PTU or live build, whatever happens at the time. The little gift boxes around the landing zones are currently worth 1,000 Alpha EBC, and you can grab loads very quickly around landing zones. That's in the 3.15.1 live build 2. Try and make some money up. I'm not sure if there's going to be a wipe with 3.16. I would not expect a wipe with 3.16, but those little boxes spawn very quickly. There are loads of fixes and optimizations in 3.16 as well. However, there are still some issues that are currently known, and some of them are pretty major blockers for a wider build. So let's go over a couple of these. Ships can explode after a player exits them. That's a pretty big issue right there. There are multiple doors offering only close options. I call those walls. If it's a door you can only close, it's a wall. Ships sometimes won't appear in the Vehicle Manager app unless the player spawns a ship first, and then spawns a different ship, and then only then will the first ship appear in the VMA. You cannot refuel, repair, and restock at some stations. Medical beds are not healing injuries. Character heads, mobiGlass, and other equipment are missing after being released from Klesha prison. Bounty hunter missions may stall indefinitely if leaving an area before it updates on a slow server. That might be one of the reasons I wasn't seeing those atmospheric bounty missions, actually. Easy habs in Everest Harbour have no atmosphere and will asphyxiate players with no suit. Bedlogging on a moon or a planet can have the ships falling through the surface, and there is a chance of selling commodities at admin kiosks failing. Doors on the hammerhead to the turrets might not open for players. The emergency elevators do not send a valid player to the hospital once the admit patients UI has been activated and remains on checking availability. Heavy armor can still clip through the mobiGlass and obscure icons, and weapons will not holster correctly. So that's it for your 3.16 PTU patch sort of update there at the moment. There is still more to add and fix, and we should see a lot happening over the next week with all the systems that they're potentially trying to get into this patch, and getting all that sort of stuff worked out. It does look to me like they're trying to get a live patch out for sort of between the 17th and 24th of December. We do know that there is a new hover vehicle or ship planned. I don't think it's a concept sale, I think it's actually a straight to flyable. I will be getting videos up on all the gameplay that 3.16 has to offer with Jumptown, how the sort of like new atmospheric bounties play, checking out bunker missions and all that sort of jazz again. There's a couple of other newsy things before we go though. Starting today, you should check out the Lumberyard calendar on the RSI website. Each day there's going to be another little present behind the calendar door for you, so check back each day until the 22nd to make sure you don't miss out. This week's sneak peek was of the Mercy Hospital at Levski, and I am very much looking forward to Levski's return when we have more star systems, hopefully in the not too distant future. But boom, that's it for the news and 3.16 PTU stuff. But what do you think? Are you playing in 3.16 in the first wave PTU now? How is that for you? Is it a buggy mess? Is it really fun? What do you think of those new features? What do you think of the new Gravlev vehicle or ship that they've been hinting at? What do you think that will be? Are you looking forward to regular Jumptown events? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below.
Ho ho ho, I'm a fat man with a beard, and I'm gonna sneak down your chimney and give you
NordVPN. That's right, I'm BoredGamer. I am that fat man with a beard. And it's Nordmas. So what do you want in your stocking for Nordmas, little Timmy? I want NordVPN, with its useful security, privacy and locational spoofing features. I also want a racing car set. Of course you do, but as I'm not sponsored by Racing Car Set, maybe you should shut your little mouth, Tim. Merry Nordmas! For December, we are giving away an Origin 400i with a Star Citizen game package and lifetime insurance. This is a luxury multi-role explorer ship for 1 to 3 players to run together. It's like a little yacht in space. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning that is comment on any of my videos made during December. If you'd like to further support the channel, please consider clicking that join button underneath my videos. You can also become a Patreon or even donate. Thank you so much for watching, please take care, and I'll see you in the verse.